here to talk about how quick, smart, and local might be your best friend in this crazy market. All right. Thanks so much for joining us again today for our second installation of the Nova Summit. I'm joined here with Cheryl Braunschweiger and David Pellegrino. Thanks so much for joining me today. Here to talk about how quick, smart, and local might be your best friend in this crazy market. So we've been talking about a lot of the different things about Nova that help us to stand apart. One of the things that we've kind of focused in on is our tagline, quick, smart, and local. How does that help you as you're competing or from a reputational standpoint in our local market?
I think it helps us tremendously. And something that we haven't really said yet is just the level of reputation, the positive reputation that Nova has, that we've built up over the last 11 years. And I think that street cred helps us tremendously in this market, as competitive as it is. So many people hunting so few houses. The reputation that we have gives our borrowers something of a competitive advantage in an otherwise very complicated market. Cheryl, you could probably expound on that more than I can. But.
Yeah, you know what? I love the question because it brings in 3 tag words that I want to use all the time, right? Quick? Yes, we're quick. We are fast. We can be uber competitive with our borrowers who are ready to go. And we've got a system for that, right? Are we local? Yes. We live and work in the community that we're in. We are not some phone number away. You can come get eyeball to eyeball with us in our branches, right? And we're smart. Of course we are. Right? That's why we do what we do, and that's why we're the trusted advisors in order to help our borrowers get up to the plate, right? Especially on purchases. We need that competitive edge. We need to be able to pick up the phone and call the listing agent, strategize and negotiate around how we can level up and get our borrowers to the top of the potential pile of offers that they're seeing right now.
So what do you hear from like listing agents and title partners as they get an offer from Nova? I mean, do you hear from them about, hey, this is Nova, great, or what's the sentiment?
Yeah, I think I do hear that. Like, well, when I talk to somebody, I usually say, hi, this is Cheryl at Nova. I'm calling about, the offer from my buyer on your property. And they'll say, okay, great. Thank you, right? And then I launch into, have you ever worked with Nova before?
Yeah.
Have you heard of us, right? And I will tell you, the majority of the time people say, yes, I've done business, and they'll name a loan officer maybe in one of our other branches. And for me, I'm like, great, because I know that they've done a great job. And I can just slide right in there and say, well, then you already know how great Nova is.
Yeah.
You know that we're quick, that we're smart, and that we're local, and we're able to level up the playing field. And that's a great conversation starter to get them then starting to ask me questions to engage.
Yeah, no, that's outstanding. I think one of the other things is kind of the caliber of personnel that we have here. We talked earlier about culture, but we've got over 63 loan officers that qualified for the Scotsman Guide this year, and we've got a number of them that have had a significant tenure like yourselves here at Nova. How do you think that helps?
I think it helps us a tremendous amount. I mean, Cheryl's success is not my failure, and I know that she's going to go out there and she's going to do a good job, and she's going to represent this company the way that I would represent it. I tend to be very defensive about the company's reputation, to the point where I don't have any issue calling somebody out if I think they're doing a bad job.
Which is great, because that's the accountability factor,
right,
and the collaboration that we've built among one another, that we feel comfortable enough saying, hey, right, like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Or don't mess with our reputation.
Yeah.
Way better to be part of a dream team than a scream team, and I think that's what you guys really described there.
Sure.
That's great. So how does being local, you mentioned it before, how does that play into it? There's so many, the rise of these different lenders, they may be internet-based, they may be a phone call away. What do you think the advantage of that local piece is, Cheryl?
Oh my gosh, the list is very long. Honestly, right? And I love talking about that because my value is me, right? And I am available, I'm quick, I'm smart, And I'm local. So I love to talk about that when it comes to myself and my team, right? That we underwrite here in our branches, right? That we've got a processor that sits in the branch, right? They're not in a different state, not knowing the nuances of how to do business in Colorado. I feel like that's a really important piece, and I can depend on them.
Right.
I trust them. So when I'm talking to somebody, that I feel comes out in my conversation around why I am their choice, not somebody on the other end of a phone just quoting a rate.
Yep.
Anyone can quote a rate. But a low rate with the wrong strategy is the worst possible scenario. And I say that over and over again, and I think that starts to resonate.
I love that. So one of the things that I kind of picked up on there is this idea around confidence in your teammates and knowing that allows you to go out and really focus on sales activities. So, whether it's on the loan officer side or the operation side, give me a sense, David, of knowing that once you put that loan in, that it's kind of put to bed, how that helps you as you move on to the next person.
Yeah, it's almost self-evident, isn't it? I mean, yeah, I don't know if I could frame it much better than that. I know that once I've turned the file in, it's good.
Yeah.
Well, that goes to the quality of David's professionalism too, and his knowledge, and the fact that he does the research to make sure when we do that, we've already done our homework. We've done the hard work up front.
Yep.
Right? And the do it right the first time is kind of a slogan around here.
Yep.
And we live that. The last thing I want is to not be confident and have my buyer go under contract.
I agree.
Right? Because then I lose sleep, then my reputation is on the line, your reputation is on the line, and that's not the way I do business.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I operate the exact same way. You don't write an offer unless I know exactly how it's getting to the table.
That's great. I think what I just heard there is kind of we have to have a standard, and our standard is really built around excellence. I think that if you're out there in the marketplace or if you're at a life moment cycle, you'd really owe it to yourself to reach out to one of these awesome folks here at Nova. Our rank and file is as good and as bright as these two right here, but again, certainly appreciate your tenure and professionalism. Thanks so much for joining me.